the previous video, we came up with a list of stocks that are undervalued. Their price is lower than the value that we've calculated. So now in this video, we're going to find a way to reduce that list to create a short list of stocks that are worth doing further analysis on, looking at their financial statements, etc., which we're going to deal with in future videos. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to generate charts. Now, I'm only interested in stocks that are at least 30% undervalued. And currently that's about 250 in our analysis, 250 stocks. So we're going to generate charts for 250 stocks that we can easily and quickly flick through and decide if they're worth having a look at. So, let's get to it. So the first thing you need to do is open up the analysis that we've done previously. Market value model. So in the last video we did this analysis, DCF valuation of stocks, V01, and we ended up with this list. Okay, so let's just save this as a new file. Save as VO2, DCF valuation of stocks, VO2. Save, yes, want to replace it. Cool, now let's just add in a column here, just so that we can number these. So hash to mean number, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, just put the number in. And double click on the corner, left, double click, there we go, we got some numbers. So now, if you scroll down, we are interested in everything above 30%. So you got your 30.13. So just select in this column of this row over here, FWONA, Shift Control up, keep holding down Shift, down arrow, keep holding down Shift, left arrow, left arrow, left arrow. Great. Control C, and that gives us what we want to look at. So a new Excel file, new blank workbook, come on, and then Control V. Okay, now one last thing, insert a row, so inserts, and then just type in their symbol, SYMBOL. Okay, now we want to save this as a CSV file, so save as, if you have a look, there we go, CSV, infant data, and infant data, sorry, we want to call this, there we go, Inv30103 Val Invest Stocks 01 CSV. So let's call it that. Save. Yes, I want to replace it. Yes, whatever. So close it. Okay, now let's get into Python. So it creates a new Python code editor, and we want to save this as, so file, save as. Okay, I've already had a go at this. So Inv30103 generate charts of undervalued codes, VO1, and I'm calling it video. So save. Yes. Okay, so the first thing is we want to just label what we're doing in this code. So this prints out the charts of the current Val investment nice to spell, ideas. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to bring in the functions that we're going to use. So functions. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the directory and then import the data that we need. So import, from OS, import CHDR. Okay, and then change directory. Okay. CHDIR, brackets, quotes. Now we want to change to this findat folder. So selecting there, Control C, escape, Control V. And now the quirk of Python of the double backspace. So backspace, 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 backspace. Marvelous. So let's just run all this, make sure it works. Control V, enter, enter. Seems to work okay. Next, we want to read in the data. And we're going to read it into pandas, Excel for Python. So import pandas as PD. Okay. And then read in the data, just to comment it. So df data frame is equal to pd dot read underscore, there we go, csv, open brackets. Now we just want to quotes, we want the file name, and we're looking for this one, 20105 all stock prices CSV. So rename, Control C. So this is in a previous video where we downloaded all the prices of all the stocks of about 3,000 stocks for the last 2 years. That, and then we want to just say index col is equal to date. If we don't do this, it's not going to read in the date column as the index, which is what we want. So let's just show you that. I would help if I read in pandas. Okay, up arrow, up arrow. Cool. So df, all of this. And as you can see on the left, this date column is the index. If I didn't specify that we wanted index as date, it would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the index rather than date, which is what we want. Next, we want to read in the list of stocks that we want to just look at, because this is about 2,000 columns, 3,000 columns. So we don't need all that data, we just need a few. So sp list is equal to pd dot read, there we go, read csv, brackets, quotes, and this is the file that we just created, val invest stocks 01. So copy, sorry, no, rename, Control C, escape, and then Control V. Okay, so let's just read that in. SP list. Hey, we got all of these stocks over here. It's great with this symbol title. Next, we want to put in a moving average when we eventually plot these charts. It's just nice to compare the current price against what the average price has been. So put in moving average. Okay, so df 200 MA is equal to pd dot data frame, yes, open brackets, quotes, wait, no, dot data frame dot rolling. So that creates a rolling window of data that we can do a calculation on. Okay. And we want to just look at df, so the data frame, and then the window that we want is equal to 200, so 200 bits of data, and what we want to do to that is average it, so mean. Cool. Next, let's run that. Hey, it works. So df200 ma, what does it spit out? Lots of numbers, and the first few there's nothing, and that's what you'd expect because you need at least 200 data points to create a 200 period moving average. Okay. So now the next thing that we want to do is we need to change the directory again, because once we create these charts, we're going to save them down somewhere. So we need to change the directory in which we want to save this down. So change directory to save charts. CHDIR. Now, in the FinDat folder, you need to create a folder called charts. I've already done that. So Control C and Control V. Okay. Let's just see that it works. So this is my style of just writing code, is write the code, test it as I write it, how it works, and you're not going to get into trouble. So then we're going to put all of these charts in a giant loop. The 250 or so stocks that we want to look at, we want to sort of run this piece of code 250 times. So let's just set up the loop now. So for I in range 0, len, and then in brackets sp list, colon. Okay, this is where the action happens. So the first thing we want to do is we want to pull out the name of the stock we're looking at. We're going to call that ticker. The ticker that we're looking at is equal to sp list, this data from up here, square brackets, and we want to look at the quotes, symbol column, and we want to bring back I. So let's just set I as 1 for now. I is equal to 1. Cool. And then let's just run this little piece of code. Ticker. Cool. So that's the stuff we want to look at. RAD. Okay. Now we want to create a label for the chart that we're going to be creating. So name is equal to str, so string I. So whatever the number is in the loop, it's just turning that into a string of text so that we can use it for the label. Plus quote dash quote plus ticker. So let's just look at that. Name, cool. Next. So this is where we now plot the lines on the chart. So it's almost like we have a blank canvas and we're plotting it sort of line by line. So we're going to call this x, as in axis, is equal to df, and then ticker. That's the bit of data that we want to bring back. So just to df, just bring back the first 5 lines. So you got all of these symbols over here. So we're going to bring back just the relevant column of data. Okay, df.ticker dot plot title is equal to name, which is that over there. Okay, then next, just stick with me. AX is equal to df 200 MA ticker dot plot. Okay, and then what we do is we go plt dot show. So let's just run all of this and just see what Python brings back. Control V, enter, enter. I need to, before we go any further, we just need to import the functions for plotting. So import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. Okay, copy that. Let's run this again. Hey! So there's a tiny chart, but there you go. So the next thing we want to do is when we run this loop is we want to save the file down. So save the chart. Fig is equal to x dot get underscore figure. Ooh, we want that there. And then fig dot save fig. Title it. So in quotes we go %r dot png, and then that percentage refers to name, which is that, and then we want to give it a size. So dpi dots per inch is equal to 300. Okay, almost there. Well, let's just save this, and then you can see what it looks like. So cool, run that. Hey, there's it saved. Have a look. So there we go. There's the chart that we've just created. Let's delete that for now. The last thing we want to do is we want to put in some error trapping, because this is running 200 times, and what if one of these things fail? We don't want it to sort of stop the whole loop. So what we're going to do is over here, we're going to go try, and then you need to indent this block of text, indent it, and then except colon pass. So we want it to just do nothing if there's an error. Right, so let's run it. So run. One more thing we need to do. So let's just restart kernel just to stop this. We need to put in a status report. Forgot to do that. So print stri, so what the number that it's currently on, plus quotes of quotes plus str len sp list. There we go. Let's try that again. So let's run this. There we go. We've got our report of which one it's printing out. So like a good cooking show, I've done this already. So let me just stop this. You can let this run. It won't run for that long. It'll go to, you know, the 250 charts. So let's just stop this. Oh, that's not going to work. Restart kernel. Yes. And so these are all the charts that it's populated. I'm going to just delete them for now, since I've already done this. Delete. Okay, so here's all the charts that it produces. Now what we're looking for is a pattern that goes something like this. The stock price moves along happily, and then there's a big fall off. So what happens is the company was fine, and then something happened which caused the market to go crazy. Now we're looking for situations where the market has gone too crazy. It's saying that the company is worth the price over here, when really it's maybe worth the price over there. So we're looking for situations like that. So that's the kind of pattern that we're looking for in the charts. So next thing we do is go to the charts. Let's just open up the first one. And then let's just over here. So look at. So what you do, or what I would do, is you then just sort of go through each of the charts one by one, saying, would I look at that? So that one, that's just crazy. So no. This is a maybe. So yes, we'd look at that. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. Etc. So I'd go through each one and then I'd mark on the list, am I going to look at it or not? Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk about when you look at the company, what you should be looking at in the financial statements, and how to approach analyzing a company from a fundamental perspective. And I'm then going to analyze the 4 stocks that I had in my portfolio that I talk about at the beginning of the course, for an up-to-date list of the current valuation, or this current valuation model, with analysis of the undervalued stocks. I will be selling a monthly subscription that you can find on my website, getrichslow.net, and you can sign up for that. It shouldn't be too expensive, and you can get all this analysis that I've sort of done for you. But let's just keep going through these charts, and I'll say whether I would look at them or not. So yes, I probably would, but that's just a little bit of a funny chart. Probably look at that. You got your cluster and then it's fallen off. I lost money on CPL, but I probably would look at it again. No, because that's just funny. No. Yeah, probably, because there's sort of enough of a price clustering higher, so probably would look at that. Another thing to remember is with all these stocks, once you look at it, you don't buy it immediately. Later on in the course, I'm going to talk about when to buy and when to sell. So that's important. Yeah, I'd look at that. The cluster falls off. It's rising. No. Yeah, I'll look at that. Yeah, look at that. No. That's crazy. But probably would have a quick look at that. No. Probably would look at that. No. That, no. Would look at that. I would look at that. And so it goes. In the next videos in the course, I'll explain to you how I go about analyzing the companies that I look at. There's a sort of step-by-step process. And we'll get to that. The video immediately after this is I'm going to talk about the things you should consider when analyzing a company. So I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.